Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Mr. Retta Adele, and I am absolutely thrilled to have all my third prep students tuning in today for this special explainer. We've got an amazing journey ahead of us. We're literally going to travel through time to check out some of the most world-changing scientific discoveries in human history. And along the way, we're going to level up our English vocabulary, nail down the exact Arabic meanings of key terms, and even master a super important grammar rule. So grab your notebooks because this is going to be a blast. Okay, let's take a quick look at our blueprint for today. We're going to dive into medical marvels, check out the history of glasses, follow the journey of electricity, and wrap it all up with past perfect grammar. All right, Section 1, Medical Marvels and Discoveries. Let's get into it. So first things first, we need to clear up a massive vocabulary difference that trips up a lot of people. The difference between discover and invent. Now, if you find something that's already out there hiding in nature, you discover it. In Arabic, that's yaktashif. Think of finding a new planet or a rare plant. But if you build a brand new machine from scratch, you invented, or yakhtare. Keep these locked in your brain, guys, because they show up all the time in your reading exams. Let's look at one of the craziest discoveries ever, penicillin. This literally started as a happy accident with some laboratory mold and turned into the world's most important antibiotic. Picture this. It's 1928, and a scientist named Alexander Fleming comes back from a holiday only to find that some random weird mold had actually killed the bacteria in his lab. He named it penicillin. But here's the crazy part. He actually ran out of money and couldn't finish his research. It wasn't until 14 years later, in 1942, that a doctor finally used it to treat an American woman named Ann Miller. She had been terribly sick with a fever for weeks. And boom, within a single day of getting penicillin, she recovered. By the mid-1940s, right in the middle of World War II, this stuff was being mass-produced and ended up saving countless soldiers' lives. Absolutely incredible. Now, let's talk about medical imaging, how doctors actually look inside our bodies without, cutting us open. The oldest method is the X-ray, which goes way back to the late 1890s. It uses special energy to make our bones show up bright white, and it's the quickest one to take. Fast forward about 70 years to the 1960s, and the CT scan was invented. It uses similar X-ray tech, but gives doctors a way clearer picture. And then we have the ultrasound popping up in 1956. This one is super cool because instead of X-rays, it uses sound waves bouncing off your organs to create a moving image. Because of that, it's actually the safest type of imaging we have today. Moving on to Section 2, the history of glasses. Before we jump into the history, let's grab two essential English vocabulary words for your exams. First is lens, or adisa, in Arabic. That's the clear glass or plastic part you actually look right through. Second is frame, or itar, which is the physical outside structure, usually metal or plastic, that sits on your nose and ears to hold those lenses right in place. The evolution of these things is wild. We go from super expensive wooden frames all the way to the plastic ones we use today. Back in 13th century Italy, glasses were literally held by hand or just balanced awkwardly on your nose, and the frames were made out of leather or wood. Like, no way, right? And obviously only the super rich could even afford them. It wasn't until the 16th century that someone finally had the bright idea to improve the design so they could just hook over your ears. Thank goodness for that. By the 1800s, they became a lot cheaper, and then the 20th century hit, introducing plastic. That made them lightweight and cheap enough for basically everyone. To put that in perspective, today, over 60% of all adults worldwide wear them. Now, if you go to an eye clinic today, doctors have all sorts of amazing, painless ways to fix your vision. And hey, this is super relevant to you guys, my third prep students, because we all spend way too much time staring at laptops and phones. More teenagers have sight problems today than ever before in history. But don't worry, we've got tons of solutions now. Frame designs are better than ever. Or you could go with contact lenses, which sit right on the eye itself. They're awesome if you play sports, though, yeah, they are pretty easy to lose. There are also completely painless eye operations available now. Though, just a heads up, if you're under 18, doctors usually tell you to wait until your eyes have completely finished growing. All right, Section 3, the journey of electricity. Definitely get these next terms in your notebooks. First, electricity, or kahraba. That's the invisible power that gives us light, heat, and basically runs every single machine in our modern lives. Next up is light bulb, or misbah kahrabai, which is the glass object that magically turns all that electricity into light. The journey to getting that power into our homes spans thousands of years. Check this out. Way back in 2750 BCE, ancient Egyptians actually found a fish that could produce real electric shocks. Then we jump way ahead to 1751 when Benjamin Franklin did his famous experiment flying a kite in a literal thunderstorm just to prove that lightning was, in fact, a type of electricity. By 1800, a guy named Alessandro Volta gave us the very first modern battery, meaning we could finally store this power. And then in 1879, Thomas Edison invented the electric light bulb, which finally made it cheap and easy enough for everyday people to light up their homes. Talk about a total game changer. And here's a massive, super positive fact for you. Today, a full 1/3 of all global electricity comes from clean, renewable sources. We're talking wind, water, and solar power. Shifting more towards these natural resources is going to be a totally vital scientific mission for your generation.
And finally, Section 4, Past Perfect Grammar Rules.
Okay, let's talk about the past perfect, or al-madi at-tam. It sounds fancy, but it's really just a simple tool to help us organize two past events so we know exactly which one happened first. It's kind of like a timeline. If two things happened yesterday, the very first action gets the past perfect treatment. That's where we use had plus the past participle. The action that happens second, that just stays in your regular simple past, verb plus ed or an irregular verb. It's literally just a way to put the past in perfect chronological order. Let's break down the ultimate cheat sheet for this, covering both the affirmative, which is muthbat, and the negative, which is manfi. Take the affirmative rule. He had done his homework before he watched TV. Doing the homework happened first, right? So it gets had done. Watching TV happens second, so it's just watched. Simple. For the negative, you just swap had for hadn't. So I hadn't watched TV before I finished my homework. It's a really beautiful logical system once you get the hang of it. Let's look at one more example. After he had parked his car, he went to work. Notice how the time connector word after introduces that first action with had parked. It sets up a timeline perfectly. You're going to see words like after, as soon as, before, and by the time popping up constantly with this tense. A great trick to remember is that after always hugs the first action, the past perfect. He parked the car first, then he went to work. It's clear, it's structured, and you guys are going to absolutely ace it on the exam. So, we have explored some of the absolute greatest discoveries of the past, from penicillin to light bulbs, and we've mastered the exact grammar you need to talk about them. But I want to leave my third prep students with a really exciting challenge regarding your own future. Look around. The world still has so many problems left to solve. So, using your new English vocabulary, what will you discover or invent to change the future? Think about it, keep studying hard, and I will see you all in our next explainer.